In Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the All Parties Hurriyat conference has expressed anguish over the deployment of additional Indian troops to impose a forcible lockdown with an aim to destroy the economic infrastructure and educational system of the territory. The All Parties Hurriyat conference spokesman in a statement issued in Srinagar maintained that by restricting economic activities in the garb of COVID-19 pandemic, the Modi-led fascist Indian regime wants to cripple the people of Jammu and Kashmir economically and force them to be subservient to India for their basic needs. He termed it as the East India Company-like approach to prolong New Delhi's illegal occupation on Jammu and Kashmir. The APHC spokesman mentioned that the occupation authorities are using the COVID-19 pandemic as a double-edged sword to crush the Kashmiris as well as their legitimate struggle for the right to self-determination. APHC leaders Farida Behenji and Yasmin Raja have said that India has been illegally occupying the disputed territory for the past 7 decades. The women leaders, in a joint statement issued in Srinagar, deplored that India had been severely violating the political, religious and social rights of the people in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. The Indian authorities booked journalist Sajjad Gul under Black Law Public Safety Act and shifted him to Kot Balwal jail in Jammu. Gul, who had been working as a reporter at a local newspaper, was on Saturday granted bail by a court in Bandipora. However, he was not released and booked under a ridiculous murder charge. Meanwhile, in yet another move to muzzle journalism in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the authorities today cancelled the registration of the Kashmir Press Club and handed over the building to the Estate Department. It is to be noted that the club was at forefront of flagging the issue of internet blackout, harassment and intimidation of scribes in the occupied territory. The Kashmir Press Club has now joined a long list of civil society bodies in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir that were rendered to defunct following illegal revocation of territory special status in August 2019. On the other hand, senior Congress leader Naresh Gupta, in a media interview in Jammu, launched a scathing attack on the local face of the Modi regime for its dictatorial attitude towards the media houses. He said media persons were harassed for exposing failures of the regime. The founder of Genocide Watch, Dr. Gregory Stanton, during a U.S. congressional briefing on call for genocide of Indian Muslims in Washington, warned that there are early signs and processes of genocide of Muslims in occupied Jammu and Kashmir and in India. Dr. Stanton, who had predicted genocide in Rwanda years before it took place in 1994, compared the situation for Muslims of Jammu and Kashmir and India under Modi regime to events in Myanmar and Rwanda. The event was organized by the Indian American Muslim Council. At least 50 politicians, former officials and peace activists have urged India and Pakistan to resolve their differences through talks for durable peace in the region.